Well, hello again, collectors. So we got a new brand for my channel, although everyone else has reviewed this. I think I first saw Twice DieCast reviewing this thing. It's called DieCast Team or DCT. It's officially licensed, so that's impressive because this was a really inexpensive model. I got it off AliExpress probably half a year ago, but I had to go away for 4 months. So finally, I'm getting around to reviewing this. All right, let's see here. Boy, I spent probably 30 minutes reading on this car just on Wikipedia, so you gotta question whether or not that information is real, but it's a good place to centralize all the information. So, production of this car started in 2010, and they made 500 of them, and they were all handmade. They made 20 a month, pretty much by hand. The body is like 65% carbon reinforced plastic, and the rest is aluminum. And this is a freestanding model by Lexus. There's no Toyota equivalent of this, and it's definitely a supercar. A lot of people praised it for being the greatest car of its day. It was also the fastest car around the Nürburgring and several other racetracks back in 2010. But the problem is it was almost $400,000. So a lot of people criticized that price, and Lexus actually seemed to have had a hard time selling all 500 of them. So, other supercars would cost a fraction of it. But, being a Toyota product, this supercar was probably quite reliable, is probably quite reliable. Here, let's look at this. It seems pretty accurate to this photograph as far as the roof line and all that stuff. So, okay, you'll have to decide. I'm looking through a mobile phone screen. So, this thing is powered by a 4.8 liter V10, and the amazing part of this is not the 550 horsepower or the 480 pound-feet or 480 newton meters of torque. It's the fact that this thing will rev up to 9,000 RPM. And that's pretty high for a V10. I remember the Dodge Viper redlined it around 6,200 RPM. So this is like an F1 engine. All right, so they packaged it with a little bit of a rear weight bias. It's a rear-wheel drive car only, but the engine's up here, front, mid, center, whatever you'd call that. And it's running on 20-inch rims, 6-speed manumatic transmission, and I guess that's all I cared to learn about. I gotta really mix it up and just start on the front end, because for me, I think about, besides the price, the styling of this car is not for me. I mean, it looks like a Supra, which is a Toyota product. It also looks like a Lexus, as it should, but for some reason, this whole front end, for me, whether it's a real car or the 64 scale, it's just not attractive. I'm okay with all the rest of it. I think it looks pretty cool. But yeah, it's not the prettiest car for me. Okay, well, let's see what DCT did here. We do have, some black paint in here. Not much by way of grille detail, though. I kind of feel like there is a texture there, but it's so faint. It's believable that there is no texture there. You'll have to decide. I don't think there's a texture here as well. But I will get that front photo I pulled up, and yeah, it has a pretty wide grille here, so I don't know if the mold is just worn out or if they just skipped it. Again, this is not an expensive model, so we can't expect the world out of this thing, but alright, so the Lexus badge is quite crisp. Very good. It's actually relatively accurate in size. My initial impression is it's huge, but looking back at that front photograph, it's a pretty big logo on this car. Alright, the headlights here, we have the clear plastic lenses there. Sorry for the paint, I'm always painting stuff. Boy, I don't know, I don't really see much of, by way of like, things that look like lights behind there. Partially because the plastic isn't very clear. This looks like a weird artifact or even a crack in it. So I don't know, not the greatest headlights, but at least we have a little black paint in this little vent. That's a pretty short vent considering this is a toothpick I'm dragging over it, so it's nice to see that paint detail. And then with the turn signal there is painted orange very nicely. No overrun or anything like that. We have an F badge, very crisp as well. This metallic blue is pretty cool. It looks like a Spectre Flame kind of Hot Wheels thing. I'm not sure if the car ever came in this colorway. Yeah, I don't know if the photographs I pulled up are supposed to be this. Now I can see more of a better texture in these roof vents there. I kind of feel like it would be nice if those are more pronounced in those vents, of course. It's a little bit, wavy in its paint, as one would expect from a car of this pricing. Alright, so sorry, I had a runny nose, I had to sneeze. Raised wiper blade there. Is it painted black? It looks black. I guess it is painted black. The blackout of the windows on the outside surface. Being a molded window, we're gonna have some distortion, but the windshield is okay. You can see the white seats in there. Okay, let's go around to the side. So the knobby tires, not a fan of that. Not on a supercar, at least. These belong on an off-road truck, not a road car. The wheels are nicely done. They're painted a really shiny gunmetal, or maybe that's that vapor deposition chrome plating you see on like model kits. It's very smooth. I don't know if it's paint or some other process. It's so shiny it's kind of hard to see in the middle, but it looks like a center cap detail and possibly some lug nuts. Too much reflection, I can't tell. I don't think there's brakes. I wasn't expecting brakes, but the spokes are passing air, so that's good. And it looks pretty bad now, but I think when it sits on the ground or the base, it seems, whoa, so not here. In fact, I have to go back to this box because I realize this is just a waste of plastic. Because, it's nice that the model showed up, but who wants to display something like this, right? Why would you have the thing floating and you have to look through 2 pieces of plastic on 3/4 of the thing, right? The fact that there's no screw thing, because this doesn't make sense either, right? Because like you pick it up and it's doing that, you're gonna probably break off the mirrors unless they're rubber. So the thing should either just be screwed through the bottom like every other normal base, or just don't even make people buy this because it's already broken. This is garbage that's gonna pollute all of us later on down the road. So I really wish they thought that through better. And it does have this little sticker here, but honestly, just cardboard box, even card it like a Hot Wheels. This is so inexpensive. It could be even cheaper. People want the product, not the packaging. Runny nose again, sorry. Sorry I went on that rant. It's just that on my YouTube channel I very often get environmental related feeds, and I sometimes get trapped into watching them. And besides that, all animals on this planet have plastic in their bodies. Now even plants are being tested to have plastic in them. So there's no more safe food in this world. And now women are passing off certain plastics to their babies. So we have totally killed ourselves through plastics. So we want to kind of reduce that kind of stuff, or go to bioplastics. Alright, so going back here to this DieCast instead of environmental stuff, which you guys don't care about, but you should. We have a recessed lock here with silver paint, so that's nice. Is the mirror? No, it's rigid. So again, that box is a horrible idea, or the way they mount it is a horrible idea. Alright, but this is great. There's a little bit of black paint in that really shallow vent. And then up here we have some more black paint for that vent. We have the blackout of, I don't know if these are vents or what. I guess it would be vents, maybe. So that's pretty nice. I think there's also black here. No, that's not. That's clear. But the way they have the groove there looks like that little window triangle. Fuel filler, obviously. Then again, the texture is there, but maybe not as pronounced as it should be. I have no idea what these are. Well, please leave a comment. I do see them on, they look like they're vents on the rear photograph. The taillights are great. They're clear plastic. You know, there's a little painted yellow there for an indicator. But, yeah, it's nice to see plastic taillights and headlights on a model of this price. And then the badge looks crisp again. Nice to see something in the license plate. Your guess is as good as mine. Please leave a comment. That, I mean, it looks like the panel of a toe point is missing, but maybe it's a sensor or something. Backup camera? I don't know. Then we have the triple exhaust there. Boy, I'm having a hard time focusing. They're a little bit recessed, a little bit of a dimple. It's nice they printed it so it looks like there's a black inner. I gotta feel like it would have been nicer though if they were deeper. And then maybe they wouldn't need to print that black on the inside. Probably backup lights if I had to guess. And then there's this faint, very faint grille texture again. Alrighty, third brake light groove there seems okay. Or there's actually a little silver there, so that's nice. The rear wing is in the down position. Okay, so I was actually zoomed in very far, and I didn't notice any defects. Right? Maybe that. I don't know if that's a defect because it's kind of on both sides. That might be a design issue, the way that plastic mold was designed. So this is pretty good quality control, especially for the price. So that, you know, this is much better than an M2 Machines green light, and it's possibly Mini GT. There's some problems going on with their QC apparently. I'm looking for my screwdriver. So we have a plastic base, and then the tire treads look nice from the bottom at least. We have the brand itself with the scale, what the car is, made in China. The only thing missing is when was this copyrighted. So no indication of the original design timeline. Alright, well, so that's interesting. It seems to have suspension. That for me seems like a waste of resources and money. I don't, you know, the model could have been cheaper again if it didn't have that feature. I mean, who cares if a hypercar has suspension? Wait a sec though, look at these silver rings. Are those brakes? Yes, I think those are representing the brakes. Yeah, it's just that they're so far away from the spokes. They're really hard to see. But let me try to get the flashlight out here and see if we could see the brakes. Man, see, it's so far back there. Even though they're physically there, they're really hard to see. So, yeah, the way they're actually on the wheel. Look at this. This whole thing comes out. So I'm not sure why I can't see the brakes better, because they're actually, by design, they are not much different than others. I guess maybe they should just be bigger. I really have a hard time seeing that. I'm clearly pushing it in pretty far in, close to the spoke edges. But, yeah, I guess it's just too small of a brake to really be easy to see through those openings. But it is there, because now you see the ring is gone, and the spoke openings have increased. Alright, so you'll notice that the tires are the same width, same with the wheels. So that's one point where get rid of the suspension, save that money, and then give us bigger rear wheels like the real car has. So that's you know, one compromise of budgets, right? Alright, bottom wise here, there's some press fittings here, 5 of them, 6 of them that I can see for the window canopy. And yeah, all in all, okay. but there's no actually there's no pinholes going all the way through for the plastic inserts, so you can't really push out those lights if there was a problem, you know. There's literally some sort of glue back there, but you would have to pry at this light to fix it, perhaps damaging it. This interior, it is nice that we have some extra color, right? Again, for the price of this model, I think that's really great. I guess that's like a trunk cover, maybe? Not sure what those circles would be. Really nice details is what I would expect from pretty much any model these days. Well, other than Hot Wheels. Hot Wheels interiors are still quite bad, but those things are really, really cheap. This thing also has a tampo print of the badge even on the steering wheel, so that's pretty cool. It's unexpected, really. Alright, well anyways, I think that's a great interior. Nice details. So this model was pretty good, right? So I looked up the price of this thing, and this thing, this is AliExpress, if you've never seen this website, by the way. If you buy $10 of stuff, they'll give you free shipping. So this model here is like $6, $7. If you buy 2 of them, you're going to get free shipping, right? So that's just the first result, just looking up DCT 164. So that's really impressive. And that leads me to the next subject. That being people asking for certain features. The American brands are not good. That's why you don't see me reviewing these 3 brands anymore. M2 Machines, they are rife with quality control problems. Greenlight, also rife with quality control problems. I guess Auto World has pretty decent quality control. But I'm pretty sure all 3 of these things cost more than this. Now here's the criticisms I have. Painted headlights and taillights. How does that look realistic compared to something with clear headlights? Right? This looks like it's possessed, like Carrie. Wasn't that crazy horror movie car? This has thin taillights. That I can understand why they're painted, but you can just see the light bouncing around in the taillights here, and it just looks more realistic, right? Same here. Painted headlights, also opening panels. They create all these ugly, noticeable gaps, right? That gap is all huge and nasty looking compared to the gaps of something that doesn't have opening panels, like in the back or the doors, right? Boy, look at those headlights. Again, what looks more realistic to you? Now, the reason why you're getting these painted headlights and taillights by these American brands is because people are asking for stupid things like metallic bases. Why do you need a metal base? Metal costs more than plastic. It costs more to ship around. The molds also, I think, are more expensive because you can pull less parts out of them. So why are people asking for metal bases and wanting, in return, painted headlights, where these guys have a plastic base and realistic looking lights? So that the extra cost of a hood opening to show you an engine that's not really worth looking at. So if you're new to the hobby and you want something that actually looks more like the photographs, I would avoid all 3 US brands. The only US brand I would suggest buying is mainline Hot Wheels. Just the main lines, because you know that's a pretty decent value. But once you get into that RLC stuff, or that whatever True 64 thing they have, those are not a good value. They're horrible, in fact, it looks like. So that's my criticism. A bunch of reviewers are saying, oh, it rolls, it has a metal base. But why would you care? Why would you want that stuff when instead the money could be giving you a more realistic car? Isn't that why you collect a scale model? So it looks like a miniature version of a large object? That's just me. That's me, I don't know. I guess I'm jaded now. I've been around this hobby now for several years, and it doesn't seem to change much because people continue asking for things that don't make sense. Go build a scale model kit, and you're going to find it's not going to roll because they're trying to make something that looks realistic, not a toy. Hot Wheels are toys. These 3 things are toys. They look kind of like cars. This is a toy also, I think, because it does roll. But it looks far more like a real car than the American brands. So I have some unfair comparisons now. We have an ignition model DieCast. This thing doesn't roll. But are you telling me that this is what you want versus something like this? This is what you want? Sure, this thing rolls. That's nice and all. But what looks nicer to you? Granted, they're different subject matters. All right, here's a sportier looking car. It's a different price category, of course. Ignitions are really, I think, overpriced, in fact. Anyways, that's the Supra JZ880. It looks kind of like this LFA thing. To push even further the unfair comparison, this is a resin model. This doesn't roll. It doesn't have a metal base, because you're not going to see the base of the car, right? Why would you waste money on a metal base? They can put the money somewhere else. This is just fantastic, by the way. This is by YM Model. Pretty great brand. Not too many problems from this brand in my recollection. But this is the RCF, in case you can't read that, with the Pandem body kit. And this is just crazy awesome. I mean, it's so... Look at all the little details on this thing. This actually has a domed Lexus badge. It is like a clear dome on top of that Lexus badge. It's pretty cool. I've obviously reviewed all these things I've shown today. So, looking at the family lineage, I see it. It definitely looks like a Toyota kind of product, right? So, even from the old school to, boy, that thing's going way too fast. Let's get to a lower angle here. Alright, I'm going to just leave it on this coaster here. So, DCT, pretty good stuff. I think it could be even better if you didn't make people buy a worthless plastic box that doesn't even display the model without, chance of breaking the mirrors. If it was just carded like a Hot Wheels, this model could probably be under $5 delivered. So, I mean, that would blow away anything else in the industry. So you guys could. This is nearing Mini GT quality, if it isn't Mini GT quality. So it's obviously less than a Mini GT, and it could be better. I don't need this. I don't need to do that. If I want a toy, I'll buy an RC car that I can actually drive. I don't need to have a static model have these weird toy features. So lose the suspension, give us proper width wheels in the rear, lose the plastic box, and then we're good. So, but all in all, still pretty great stuff. I'll have to try another one of your castings, and we'll see you in that review. Thanks, everyone.